Action, and we're live!
Hi, everyone.
What's good, y'all? It's your girl, Indah G, in the house, back again with another episode of The Indah G Show, where educational entertaining gets a little explicit. Full episodes are available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Episode clips are also available on Instagram and TikTok. Those normally come with Indonesian closed captions. Speaking of closed captions, PSA for those of you that need this, our full episodes here on YouTube, they come with automatic English closed captions that have been reviewed and revised by the team to ensure accuracy, for those of you that need it, of course. And without further ado, let's get started. Oh my god, look who we have back in the fucking pyramid! And look at this hair. No, stop. Look at this fucking hair. Pamela Anderson could never.
I cut not even an inch off of it, but I feel like a different woman. Completely different.
And before we begin, you guys, quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Lactacid Femme, the #1 feminine wash brand with over 75 years of expertise in the feminine hygiene industry. Tried, true, and trusted since 1947 in taking care of your intimate area. In celebration of International Women's Day, Lactacid and I are inviting all of our listeners to #embrace the equity for their campaign, Skin Speaks, We Listen. We believe that every woman should have the same opportunity to unleash their potential and be the best versions of themselves. So follow your heart, listen to your intuition, and whenever your intimate area speaks, Lactacid will listen. You can find and purchase Lactacid products in retail stores near you or online on various other e-commerce platforms. No, and didn't you color your hair as well?
No.
Oh, wait, this is...
Oh, sorry. I usually dye my hair black, but I just haven't been doing that, so this is my hair.
Oh, bitch, all this time knowing you, I thought your original hair color was black.
Girl, Alexa Demie, Euphoria really had me in a chokehold.
With the jet black hair?
Yes.
Now I'm thinking of going jet black.
It's so good.
I feel
go.
like it would look good on me. So, I'm Asian.
It gives you so much confidence. Nothing could bother you.
Tapi takutnya ntar I look terlalu pucat sih.
No, but it's a vibe. It's a vibe. Look at Alexa Demie. She's pucat.
You're right.
It works. It just embrace it. Embrace the vampirism.
Put on jet black hair, red lip.
Girl, do it.
Geisha could never.
No,
actually, speaking of hair, how much, how many inches did you cut off?
Babes, I told him I do not want to go short. I can't do short hair.
Same.
Girls that can do short hair are just goddesses. Something else on a different level.
Different breed. Different breed. No, because
I can't.
No, because that was the thing that I wanted to tell you, right? My goodness, up until maybe a few, maybe I would say second year of college, all my life up until second year of college, you could not pay me to cut my hair. My mom, I know my mom's gonna be watching this because this is the International Women's Day
Happy
special
Women's Day
episodes. Is gonna be coming up on March 8th, which is International Women's Day. So holla, shout out to my mom, shout out to her mom,
shout out to all the women,
all of the moms. I mean, that's what we're gonna be talking about. But real quick, is my mom, she would kayak marah banget sama aku, kayak aku tuh nggak bisa dibilangin suruh kayak potong rambut. I would membantah mulu. I would not let her cut my hair.
Relatable.
And so it was always such a huge fight between me and my mom.
Yeah.
To just get my hair cut.
Because you want it long, but sometimes it's baby girl, it's thinning at the bottom. You got two strands, two long strands.
Bitch, the fucking ends, they be splitting and shit. That shit ain't cute, right? So it's I know I should be cutting my hair. My mom's right. I know my mom's right, but then it's just I can't bring myself to do it. And then growing up, I've always had such a I don't know how to describe it, but basically when I at some point I grew up and then I was reflecting on it, why do I feel that way every time my mom asks me to cut my hair? I have such a visceral reaction to it, right?
Do you have such a connection to your hair?
Yes, and then I started realizing I, for the longest time, ever since I was a little girl, I attached so much of my femininity to my hair, right? Were you like that? Is that normal?
Yes. No, I really was. Yeah, in the second grade, I cut my hair. No one wanted anything to do with me. I was so ugly. It was a bob and a fringe. It was terrible. Dyed it orange. Awful. And I think ever since then, I was just guys like girls with long hair. And I'm gonna do that. Megan Fox always has long hair. I want long hair.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand what you mean, but I actually just don't look good with short hair.
Yeah, no, it takes man, you gotta be a beautiful fucking woman to be able to pull off short hair, especially, oh my God, like the girls that can pull off being bald.
Ooh,
oh my God.
Don't bring that. I'm a vacuum kid, so don't bring don't bring that anywhere near my head. I don't want to see what's going on in here.
Lu kepalanya moncong.
I don't think so, but I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to risk it. Hope I never get cancer, bro. Like,
oh my God. Oh my God, no, just because, like, imagine, like, one day, like, a bitch be just, like, randomly going, like, oh, I'm gonna pull a Britney Spears, I'm gonna shave my hair bald, like, just randomly, and then, like, she shaves her head bald, and then it's like, kapalanya moncong, and then so she goes up to her parents, and she's like, kenapa kok kepala aku moncong kayak gini, and then, like, that's how she finds out that she's a vacuum baby, like, you.
Girl. No, don't bring that anywhere near me.
Oh my God, no.
No, but I agree. Like, hair, women attach such like their identity is within their hair.
Yeah. Do you feel like so much of it is like patriarchy instilled?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Especially in like Asian countries where long hair, even like I had a friend and she was Singaporean Indian, and I remember in kindergarten, her hair went up to her knees.
She Indian, you said?
Indian, Singaporean Indian. She wasn't allowed to cut her hair.
Yeah, no, that does not. Yeah. That's a thing in like it's part of some of Indian beliefs. Yeah, yeah. But then it's also but that's religious, right? But I'm talking like just like societally in general. Like there's always been this sort of like unspoken rule of like, oh, women should always have long hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like pretty girls should always have long hair. And that is definitely the sentiment that you and I grew up with. And I feel like that's also why, like, for the longest time. So I hope my mom watching this, like, now I'm finally like I'm putting it into words. I hope like she understands like the reason why. Like every time you ask me to cut my fucking hair and I have such a visceral reaction towards it, and then we like start fighting and shit, is because for the longest time, like ever since I was a little girl, I attached so much of my femininity to my hair. Especially because when I was younger, I was like a tomboy.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
girl.
A lot of people, they keep like, I get like every time I tell them that, it's like, yeah, no, I had a tomboy face. I had a butch lesbian face.
But long hair.
Medium, like a D, like a
okay.
like a length hair, which also fitting because she is a butch lesbian.
Is she butch?
She's so butch. I was a bit of a tomboy, but then reconciling that with living in a society that always told me that, like, no, a girl needs to have long hair, needs to like to wear dresses and like the color pink. I mean, now I do genuinely like the color pink.
Yeah.
It was a phase, but you know what I mean.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
But for all you girls going through something, not having the same confidence level as you used to, maybe like going through a breakup or a tough time with a situationship, cut your hair.
Yeah.
It will grow back. Just cut your hair. I'm not one of those people that's like, wait until you're like sane, wait until you're in a, no, just if you want to cut your hair, cut your hair.
No, just do it. It's cathartic.
Yeah.
It is cathartic.
It's literally, you're losing like all of that negativity, all that weight. It's just starting fresh.
People really take for granted, especially men, like obviously because like men, I don't think they've never been, I guess, conditioned to be as attached to their hair.
Yeah, they cut it like every month,
and it grows back so fucking quick. And I'm like, what the actual fuck? No, but they like it doesn't resonate with them, right? Because like with women, we get it, right? Like how a haircut is like that shit's sacred, you know what I mean? And I keep thinking about like America's Next Top Model. Did you ever watch?
Oh my God,
you know,
yes, those poor girls.
Oh my God, like especially like when the biggest, like the most sort of like ass clenching part of like the entire like America's Next Top Model like series was just, it's always in the beginning when the judges, they would determine like, okay, like for this model, this is the hair that you're gonna, this is the haircut that you're gonna get. Some of them, they gotta go bald.
Yeah, and they don't get to choose.
And then no, it's like, it's actually like I feel the pain. Like you see the scenes of them like getting their heads shaved off and like them crying, and I'm like, oh, I feel that. If that were me, I would cry.
Yeah. And like some of like the black girls too in that show, like they would put them in like white hairstyles, like you know,
that ain't it.
No, it wasn't good. It was very like, you know, let them have their identity.
Yeah.
I understood how they felt. And then they would shame them after, being like, how dare you cry? Do you not understand how much of like how many girls would kill to be in your position right now? And I was like, please,
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
They're going through something. Let them go through it.
It's not Oppression Olympics. Y'all gotta just calm down. Lunar was supposed to be in this episode because y'all know every time I talk about motherhood, parenthood, all that, Lunar, my go-to, right?
Yeah.
And it would have been really great, because that I'm just rephrasing what you said just now, but Lunar, she was raised by a working mom, but then later on when she has kids, I guess she's leaning more towards being a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
Stay at home.
From that video.
Yeah, well, stay at home. Well, have a career, but then work from home type of a thing, right? Whereas you're kind of the opposite of that, where you were raised by a stay-at-home mom.
Majority of the time stay at home.
Majority of the time. What's that supposed to mean?
I mean, there was a brief period where she would have a salon or a side business, but she was never really gone for too long. And that would be 1 year when I was 6 years old,
right.
you know.
So in aggregate, she was for the most part a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And then if you have kids,
I mean, I would want to work. I mean, I'm still in uni. I'm not going to set aside these years.
I mean, bitch, you're gonna be a doctor.
I hope.
No, you will.
Yeah, I hope.
No, you will. And I mean,
imagine I throw all of my years of uni aside and just be okay, I'm just gonna be a stay-at-home mom, which some women do, but oh man, all that work. It would be hard.
I mean, that is which really kind of, I mean, I know this is way too early into the episode, but it really just does sum up the entire conversation of just to each their own, you know, there are women that would do that, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to do that if that's what you want to do, right? So much of this conversation is just live and let live.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for other people to decide. It's between you and your partner, what works best for your children, what works best for yourself.
Yeah, I posted a poll on my Instagram story. Did you see yesterday?
I saw.
Yeah, I went on my Instagram story and I asked a bunch of questions, right? One of it being how often did you hear the sentiment of, oh, it's not good for a woman to also have a career because later she's gonna neglect the kid. And I asked oh, how often? I made up a poll did you hear it very often, sometimes, or never? And I don't know what I was expecting, and yet I was disappointed, because most people, the percentage for very often was very high.
Really?
Yeah, it was the highest. It went from very often to sometimes to in order.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's still very traditional mindset.
It's still very prevalent. Did you grow up listening to that?
No,
right?
Never.
Yeah.
No, I think it had to do with my mom never having the opportunity to go to university.
Yeah.
And then her wanting very badly for me to go to university, not get married early, not have kids early. Just she really wants me to be a career woman first.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, same thing with my mom as well. My mom also, similar to Katie's mom, never went to university, right? And so, it was something if I had told my mom that I didn't want to go to university straight after graduating gist, if I even told her that I want to take a gap year, I know my mom would have bitch slapped me back.
Not after gist, just all those all those years, all that money just down the drain.
Yeah, exactly. But in some ways, me going to college was also for her, in the sense of her living vicariously through me. Yeah. Which I obviously I do not mind. Which I do.
No, it's a good thing.
Yeah,
it's a very good thing. You know, trying to bridge that generational all the generational issues. Actually, now that I think about it, that I really think about it, one of the reasons why my mom doesn't want me to have children, get married first, is because she expects that once I do have a husband and have kids, I won't be able to go to uni, work. So I guess there is still some of that mindset with instilled within my mom. She just portrays it in a different way.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that as we go on. But then I wanted to start this off just exploring the idea of why this whole sentiment of oh, a woman, it's two sentiments. Number one, oh, it's not good for a mom to also have a career because then she's going to neglect the child, right? So that's one. And then the other one is also this notion of just oh, a woman just can't have both. A woman can't be both a good mom and a good wife she can't be a good mom / wife and be a good career woman at the same time, right? But it's really interesting because we don't ever hear that like when they talk about men and how men can't have it both ways. Men can't be good dads and be a career man at the same time. We never hear it when it's the men.
Yeah, but a lot of men aren't even expected to be good dads.
Yeah. No, and see, that's the other thing too, right? Like, what really pisses me off, the double standards of this whole thing, right? Because I was like, I called Lunar before, like I texted you. I called Lunar, right? And like I was like pitching this like episode idea, and like one of the things that I was telling her over the phone was just like, what I really wanted to focus on was this pervasive double standards of like men, right? And just how fucking low the bar is.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry because like I don't want this to be like in detriment to like all the good dads out there. I know that there are a lot of amazing fathers out there, right? But I'm just saying, like, the bar for being a good dad is down in hell, bitch. Like, the bar is not even on this fucking earth. Men do the littlest of things, and they get oh my god, he is the best dad in the whole fucking world. Like, oh my god, you're so lucky. He's such an amazing husband and dad.
Like, you dropped your kid off to school one time this semester. Oh my god, I can't believe how great of a father. I wish my husband could.
You showed up to her ultrasound appointment.
Yeah.
Wow. Round of applause for this man. Meanwhile, when women, like, we do the littlest of things wrong, when a mom does even anything outside of the scope of being a mother, suddenly she's like the worst fucking person in the entire world. And
you pick your kid up late, like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Or like, it's God forbid, sometimes you're just too tired to, like, you know, make sure that your husband comes home to a like cooked meal or whatever, right? Like when it's men, the bar is so fucking low, and when it's women, it is the complete fucking opposite. Like, women, we go above and beyond. Mothers, like, a lot of the times they go above and beyond, and it's never put up on a pedestal the same way as it is for men.
Yes, and on the other side of it, career women have to go through so much higher, like, leaps and bounds and hurdles in order to get the same.
We're good.
They need to go through so many more, like, leaps and hurdles to have the same, like, to be praised in the same way that men are. Yeah. You have to work 10 times harder as a woman to be in the same position that a man is in.
Yeah. Also, just like this whole mentality of like, oh, well, if it's men, it's like they're expected. I guess that's also part of the reason why.
Men are expected to be the breadwinners and women are expected to take care of the children. But like nowadays, you know, that's not the case. Like, women don't just want to stay at home and take care of the kids, and also like financially, it's not the most responsible thing to do sometimes. Yeah. Depending on your situation.
No, because you make such a good point. Like, one of the arguments that I never hear regarding this topic is that a lot of moms, they want to have a career, and that money is a lot of the times it's definitely not for the husband. It's a lot of the times not even just for her. It's almost always, like, I hear stories all the time, it's always for the kids. Yeah. Right? Because God forbid, like, think this through logically, right? Like, why would you put yourself in a position where you and your kids are only dependent on one person, right? Because God forbid what happens if something happens to the dad, right?
You're right. Right? You're right.
And that's happened before.
I agree 100%. And also another side of it is, like, divorces happen a lot nowadays, and in a country where, like, what's that thing where you get a divorce and you get
prenup?
Yeah, but like when settlement and like, you know how some women, if they have children, they get in the US and in Australia, they get paid monthly by their husband. Yeah. Indonesia, that's not really the case. So it's like, if you have a divorce, what are you going to do if you don't have a career, if you don't have, you know, and the ability to take care of yourself and your kids?
And child support's not a thing here in Indo, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean, child support.
Oh, child support.
It's not a thing here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As far as I know, it's not a thing here in Indonesia.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not even just divorce. Like, this has happened to a family that both my mom and I knew, where basically her husband plane crash, died in a plane crash, and then terrible. And just when he died, I mean, and all the money just died with him, like, as in, because she didn't know how to, like, do his business, let alone just, like, start her own business, right? And just basically what I'm trying to say is, when her when her husband died in that plane crash. Basically the entire family went into fucking bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just
that's the case with a lot of...
that or even just, I mean, it doesn't have to be that grim of like, oh, divorce and death. Like, not even that. Like, what if your husband is just negligent? Because that also happens. Like, a lot of men, like, they're not the
just run away.
Yeah, that, or just like they gamble all their money away, right? And then the family is like neck deep in like debt and shit.
Right.
Like, so it's also just this conversation. It's not even just about, oh, like gender norms and all that. It's also just like, logically speaking, like it's not safe.
Yeah.
It's not logically sound for you to just be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna like rely on my husband entirely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no.
And I even know women, because I'm from like Pekanbaru, which is a city, but it's a lot more like old school in compared to Jakarta. I know a lot of women who like had great careers and they fell in love and wanted to marry a man without as great of a career as them, like, you know, basic job, or was just getting by, and the husband still wanted them to quit their career, like quit their job, even though the woman had the better career.
Yeah.
And the woman did it because like that's what society expects of her, and also, you know, she's in love, she wants to marry this man. But that's so stupid. Like, why would
That
you...
is actually just so
why
fucking
would
stupid.
you do that? Like, if this man doesn't have a job and you have a great career and he tells you to quit your career to marry him, that's just... he's irresponsible. Find a different man.
And he's also just so you're that insecure. No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
imagine
Maybe
being
you
that
go
insecure.
find a job.
Yeah,
like...
how about you get up on your ass and earn a living? How about that? Oh my god, now that is pathetic. I was also just like saying on my story the other day how, you know, this whole narrative of like oh, if you're a good moms don't have careers. Like, if you are a mom and you have a career, you're a bad mom. And like, oh, women can't do this, women can't do that. Real talk, I only ever hear like broke, insecure people say that shit. Broke and or insecure.
Maybe yeah.
Broke and or insecure.
Yes, I agree.
I always just, I hear it from them, and like, so, because like, ain't no fucking way. I mean, not so much on the broke part, but then like, if you are secure and if you are confident in yourself, like, there no way you won't have to go out of your way to bring down other people like that, bro. Ain't no fucking way. That's just, wow.
Yeah, but there are a lot of women who like have money, but it's because it's what they're used to. Then they expect, like, for example, their son's wife to do the same thing that they did in terms of stay at home, not have a career, take care of the kids. Like, a lot of mother-in-laws have expectations for the daughter-in-laws to do. Yeah. You know?
Did you ever see that video on TikTok, the theory behind that, of like why basically a lot of women, like our mothers, our grandmothers, their grandmothers, like, why is it so pervasive? Because here's like an important part of this conversation is that a lot of these narratives, like, we hear it from other women. Like, it's kind of like, not to say that it never comes from men. A lot of the times it comes from men, but then like more often we hear it, and like other women, like the women in our lives, like say our moms, our grandmas, our aunties, like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, they feel like, oh, because like woman to woman, like, I'm in a position to be like telling you this more upfront and like more frequently than like, let's say, your dad, your uncle, and then there's this theory of like, basically the reason why they do that is because it's the whole concept of like misery loves company, right? You get what I mean, right?
They're not happy with their life decisions, so they don't want you to be happy with yours,
which is so insidious. It's like, no, I'm sorry that you couldn't. I'm sorry you grew up in a time where you just, by virtue of being a woman, like, you weren't given the opportunity to go pursue an education and like, you know, a career and everything, and kind of like a lot of these women, like, I'm so sorry, but they feel like their lives have just kind of been cocooned, and like like every aspect of their identities are just like stripped away and like boiled down to just like, oh, you're just a wife, you're just a mom, and like nothing else. And they're resentful of that, and like, I'm sorry that that's how you feel, but hey, don't take it out on me.
But I also think a part of it has to do with like in Indonesia, in terms of like the older generation, they don't know what else is out there in the world. They don't know that out there women are able to go to work and provide for their children and still come home and take care of their children. Like, I think a part of it has to do with like lack of awareness and education, and they're just not sure about the outside world. All they know is their little bubble.
I mean, of course, because that's the only thing that they've ever been told. And then a lot of the, what else was the other thing that I wanted to talk about is like, it's kind of a double-edged sword in my opinion. Just being a woman in and of itself, like there's just no winning, bro.
Yeah.
There's just no winning, because like even like let's say, right, and this is true, you hear this story all the time, like even let's say that you abide by the conducts of what society like tells you to do, right? Society tells you that, oh, if you're a good mom, you won't have a career, right? You'll just stay at home and you take care of the kids. A lot of women, they do that, right? Because they're like, okay, that's what society tells me. I want to be a good woman, I want to be a good mom. They follow all of that. They still get shitted on, bro, because this is the thing, what me and Lunar, we were talking about, how a lot of stay-at-home moms, they constantly get reprimanded by men in society at large. Like for example, like the
wife.
Yeah, that. But then also they'll their husbands will tell their wives like, don't breathe so down my neck all the time. Like go find a hobby, carilah hobby.
Right.
Tapi,
and then
tapi pas cari hobi malah dibilangin like you're a bad mom kayak gitu kan. So it's like, what do you want?
Also, another side of it is, I have this theory, and like correct me if you have a different opinion, but men, they want something of their wives, but then they're attracted to women that are completely different from the expectations that they set on their wives. Men like most men love women with passion, with drive, with dreams and ambition, but then they don't want that of their wife, and then they cheat on their wife with someone who does have passion, ambition, drive. And that's another part of the reason like why I don't want to have kids and not be a career woman, is because I don't want my husband to just like walk all over me. I want him to know that like I have my own grounds. Like part of a marriage is being scared of losing the other person. And I think some men, not all, some men, when they see that you're so dependent on them, they're like, oh, she'll never leave me.
Yeah.
She'll never leave me. I can cheat on her. I can do this. I can do that. Where is she gonna go?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to put myself and my kids in that position where I can't leave.
Exactly.
All the women in my family that are like doing better for themselves, and a lot of the times it's because they marry a man who's doing well financially. But all of the women in my family, when they talk to me and they're like, are you looking for a husband? Do you have a boyfriend? And I tell them like, no, I'm trying to focus on uni. Their thing is, what they always say is, good. Before you go into that marriage, discuss with your husband what you want to do in terms of like your career, because, and make that very clear, like sign a contract and everything, because once you get married and especially have kids, he can change up on you and be like, no. All the women in my family say, even though your husband is like wealthy, has a great career, definitely still work.
Yes. Because
you're like, they have bad experiences with their husbands walking all over them.
Yes.
Mistreating them.
Yes. And then especially if you have a kid, and it's not just about you no more, like it's also about the kid, right? So again, like it's back against the thing that I was saying, how a lot of women, they choose to be both moms and career women, and a lot of times that money is not even just for the women, definitely not for the men, it's for the kids. So that's why I'm so confused, like why are you're punishing women for wanting to take proactive measures to protect and provide for their kids, essentially. And people here, like, they're so uncomfortable with the idea, or like whenever I just say that, oh, women should protect and provide their kids, like they're always so uncomfortable with that. Like I notice, like I get so many comments on TikTok, they're so thrown they're so thrown off by the idea of like a woman being the one to protect and provide, which is just, I don't even know where to even begin dissecting all that. First of all, I mean, for me, like especially because I grew up with a single mom, right? Like that's definitely like my provider and my protector has always only been my mother. They also just always think that, like, you know, there's this conversation that needs to be had about how providing, when people think provide, like you say, like, oh, I want my man to be able to provide, they always only just think money. There's more to providing than just providing money.
Attention, time, even like as a wife, providing for your husband could be like making sure he eats, making sure like he has all his ducks in order before he like goes to work, or providing for your, it's not just about money.
Yeah, no.
There's so much more. And relating to that thing of like being able to protect yourself and your children, even women without children have a hard time understanding that you need to be able to protect yourself.
Yeah.
It's I had like when I was in a relationship, I was very codependent. I wanted him to protect me. I didn't know how to protect myself. And then when I moved out of Indonesia, I had to learn really fast how to protect myself, how to stand my ground, how to talk back if a man was treating me in a way that I did not want to be treated. And now I'm so happy for learning all of that, for even like getting out of that relationship, because I will not be the same woman I am today.
Yeah.
If I didn't go through that.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Because what happens if that man isn't there to protect you?
Exactly.
Or your kids?
Exactly. Or he's the threat.
Yeah.
Right? But the other thing too is this vilification of women for putting their career first over family. Now I want to get your opinion on that one. Because basically what I'm trying to say is that, okay, number one, men have for the longest time and still until this day, like they do that all the fucking time. They put career over family, and like nothing's wrong with it. All the fucking time.
Yeah.
Society says nothing when a woman does it and suddenly it's wrong. But also number two, and I feel like this is where we might disagree. I mean, I don't know, and it's fine if we do, but maybe slight unpopular opinion is that I think, in my opinion, everyone needs to put career first over family. They need to put career and money first over family. That's my opinion, but you can disagree.
Yes. No. Realistically, that's not always the case, because sometimes you can't put career, like you're not in the position where you can put your career first, because, you know, people in like the desa, they don't know how to progress their career, and just the mindset there is to like, okay, have kids. Like, anak itu kalau banyak anak jadi banyak rezeki. A lot of people say that.
Yeah, I hear that all the fucking time.
So I understand that that's not the case. Like, that's not everyone can be in the position where they're able to put career first. But if you are in the position where you are able to put career first, definitely put career first. How are you going to feed those children? How are you going to school them?
Exactly. Thank you. If you don't got money, how are you going to provide for them kids? Especially in Asian cultures, like we romanticize the idea of a mother giving up everything, risking everything for the child.
How many women I've seen who like have to follow their husbands around because of the husband's job, because the husband puts his job before the children's security. Like, men will up and leave. Like, their job's like, oh, you're promoted, move to this country. And the entire family just has to tag along. They take the kids out of school. They figure out school later. Like, yeah. Men just, they focus, a lot of men are very one-track minded.
And like, look, I understand, right? Because I've also talked to the men who actually, they're like, well, if I had it my way, like I could live in a world where I would be more present for my kid, but then society has put me in a position as a man where I need to be the sole financial provider. So I understand it's a double-edged sword, right? Like, and like men are very much like, this is something very important. Y'all gotta know. Men are also victims of the patriarchy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a discussion you need to have with whoever you're wanting to have children with.
Yeah.
I agree that you can't have it good both ways. You can't be always there for your kids and have a wonderful like career that's leading you in like the best possible path it could possibly go, and providing a lot of like financial benefits. There has to be some give. You know, you can't always be there to cook food for the children at dinner time, but it's a discussion you need to have with your husband or whoever you're having children with, because where you will be lacking in terms of, okay, I can't be there for the kids, he will have to step in and take a bit more responsibility.
Right.
So it's you have to meet halfway.
Yeah.
So I agree when like people say, oh, you can't be there as much for your children if you have a job. Sure, there has to be some give. Like, there's only 24 hours in the day.
Yeah.
But that's where you need to talk to your significant other and be like, okay, let's compromise.
Yeah. And also, I mean, to be honest, like what you were saying, right? I'm thinking about how part of the issue with this conversation is also a lot of people, they have very overblown, dramatized definitions of what neglect means, right? Because like the whole thing you said about how like, okay, well, yeah, I might not always be there every single time to make sure that the food's ready at home, right? Like because I'm thinking also from the perspective of like being a single mom, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a single mom. My mom is a single mom, right? And my mom wasn't always there. Yeah, like there were nights where my mom came home at like 11, like 12, 1 a.m., right? Yeah. Like she definitely wasn't the one preparing the food and everything.
But you didn't go hungry, did you?
Yeah, no, that. But then also, here's the thing, right? A lot of people, they would call that neglect.
I don't think that's neglect because she's not letting you go hungry.
Exactly.
She's not like, look, you probably had someone cooking your meals.
Exactly.
Making sure you ate.
Or even if not that, let's say like she'll leave me money or she'll send me money.
Yeah,
like,
but
hey,
when
here.
you were little.
Oh, okay, yeah. When I was little, I had a maid, right?
Right.
Yeah. She'll give the maid money, and like, okay, like if she doesn't want to cook, like she doesn't want to eat your cooking, then like you go buy her like something else, you know. So
that's not neglect. Your mother's still thinking about you.
Exactly, but the fact that like a lot of people constitute that as neglect, now that is the conversation that we gotta have. Like y'all have very overblown definitions of what it means for a child to be neglected. Like y'all be thinking like, oh, if mom isn't there 24/7. Here's the thing, we definitely don't want our moms to be there 24/7. 24/7?
No, I couldn't do it.
Oh my god, no, I'd kill myself.
No, I need time.
Yeah. But did you feel this with your mom? Because she was a stay-at-home mom and she was like breathing down your neck?
No. But my mom was in a very privileged situation where I lived with my grandmother. Since I was born, my mom's never been separated from her mother, so my oma.
Wow.
My mom, after giving birth to me, she had postpartum depression. She was 21, 22 when she had me, so she was just like, I don't know what to do with this. I want to go like to aerobics or whatever. So she just left me with my grandma.
Yeah.
And then when I got older, we had drivers taking us to and from school, maids at home, my grandma at home. So my mom was very much like, she didn't neglect me by any means. Like anytime I had a show, a performance, whatever, she was there. She always made sure I ate. She always made sure someone was taking care of me. Someone had picked me up.
Yeah.
But my mom was in a privileged situation where she was a stay-at-home mom, but she didn't stay home most of the time.
Right. And see, the thing is, I feel some type of way. It really irks me that a lot of people feel some type of way towards that. Like, you know, this whole like negative press that like arisan moms have, for example.
My mom was an arisan mom.
A lot of moms are arisan moms. I mean, my mom was never an arisan mom because she's a single mom. But
my mom was.
No, but a lot of my friends, like their parents are arisan moms, right? And then I feel like just a lot of the shit that I hear from like, especially a lot of men, but like even from like a lot of other women, it's like they shit on moms for, again, having hobbies, having a life outside of the scope of being a mom, and then they label that as neglect. I'm like, no, hold on, like that. There's a lot of things that we gotta unpack here.
Like, look, my mom had hobbies. My mom quilts. She played canasta and. Literally, like, she would be at her quilting club, and if she was near the school, she would pick me up. She was like, okay, the driver can stay and I'll pick her up and we'll go back to the quilting club. And then my mom would teach quilting or sewing classes for after school activities in my school. So she didn't neglect me. She cared very much, but she had her own life. It's like, it's not black and white. It's not career, stay at home. Like, there's middles. My mom's a stay-at-home mom.
Exactly.
Didn't really stay at home a lot of the time. She had hobbies. She had businesses, like little business things sometimes she'd want to do, like open a salon or whatever, that my dad was very supportive about. Even going to university, my dad was like, if you want to go to uni, go to uni. But my mom was just never, when she had the opportunity, she never took it.
It's so hard because I feel like, especially in Asian culture, there's this notion that as parents, like, to be good parents, you need to helicopter over your kids. I feel like that's
I guess
a specifically Asian thing.
Right. I've never gone through that, but
well, and then also, like, I mean, half white, half
and
Asian,
my mom my dad was the one who focused on school. Like, before we moved, he found the school. He would go see the principal. He would go to all my so my dad was very education focused, but not helicopter.
Yeah. Well, with my mom is a little bit different, right? Again, like single moms, but like I'm like talking about like I guess like from the traditional nuclear family, like a lot of my Asian friends, like, and some of them like their moms are stay-at-home moms. Like, oh my God, like
Really?
I mean, God bless these mothers, but man, these moms are like
Really?
like every single little thing, like you can't, like their moms would, like, for example, like you go to tutoring and then their moms would wait for them outside of tutoring. Like legit, like helicopter. It's not tiger parenting, like, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta achieve this and that. That's tiger parenting, right? But helicopter is like literally everywhere my friends would go, their parents always followed. The moms always followed. Because the moms, like, they would perceive it as like, no, that is my job. Like, if I want to be a good mom, I have to know every single thing. I need to know like every single second where my child is, what my child is doing. And I feel like that's such an Asian thing. They misconstrued, like they have this misconstrued notion of like good parenting means helicoptering.
Yeah, probably because that's what was expected to them. If they don't have a career, what are they going to do? If they don't have hobbies, what are they going to do? Live vicariously through the child.
Exactly. No, and it's just, my goodness, Katie, like this conversation is so frustrating because it's literally like it's a double-edged sword, like no matter what. And it's like it's just a constant cycle because like women are told that no, you can't have a career, you have to just stay at home and take care of the kids, that's it. And then they do that, and then their kids, they get like frustrated, right? Because like, mom, you're fucking annoying, like please leave me alone. That's so common, right? That's so common. And then the husbands, they also, like, women are told that no, you need to pay attention to your husband all the fucking time, right? That is your job. Like your husband and your children are your entire lives. Women make that their entire lives, and then they get shit on for it because it's like, yo, you're too annoying, you're too this, you're too that.
And then your husband cheats on you.
Yeah, and then your husband cheats on you, your child hates you.
Yeah.
And it's you just, as a woman, you never win. The notion that, oh, you're not a real mom. You're not a real mom if you also have a career. Like, you hear that a lot here in this country still. And a lot of the times, again, like a lot of my followers, when I posted that on my story, they responded to me. They were like, a lot of times you hear that the most coming from other women that reprimand you. A lot of stay-at-home moms, they're also guilty of reprimanding working moms and being like, oh, she's not a good mom, and then like, oh, nanti pasti anaknya diterlantarkan, and all that type of stuff.
No, I love watching Modern Family. And one of my favorite episodes of Modern Family, well, not favorite, but like it's one of the most memorable moments, is when Claire's the stay-at-home mom. Do you watch Modern Family?
No, but I've seen a lot of clips to kind of like know the gist.
Claire is the stay-at-home mom.
Sofia Vergara?
No. Oh. Julie Bolt.
Okay.
Claire's the stay-at-home mom, and she goes to the grocery store with her kids running around and like this and that, this problem, that problem, and then she meets like her old work colleague whose life is on a completely different path than hers, doesn't have kids yet, all these things, and she wants to impress her work colleague and make herself seem a lot more just something that she isn't, like, oh, she's working and she has this and she has that, whereas the work colleague is actually jealous of her and the fact that she has children and a loving husband to go to. And
you always think the grass is greener on the other side. Guys, the grass on the other side is not any greener than the grass you're standing on right now. It's just a different shade of green, right? And I think, again, back to the whole equity thing of just like different types of women with different types of wants exist. Let's just please cut it with this bullshit of stay-at-home moms shitting on working moms because like, oh, working moms, like they don't pay attention to their kids. And then also like the opposite too, working moms shitting on stay-at-home moms, which is what I was talking about in the episode with Lunar, of like working moms shitting on stay-at-home moms because it's like, oh, like that's it, you don't have any other ambitions, like you don't have
that's all that you do.
That's all you do. You know what I mean? It's just the whole point of the feminism movement is to be able to give women the liberty to choose to pursue whatever life that they deem fit for themselves, not what you deem fit for other people, like what you deem fit for yourselves. That's the whole point of feminism.
Right.
Now now we've gotten to this point. Again, the whole equality, equity thing, like with feminism, right? Equality, like, oh, women, like having...
Feminism is equality.
Yes, but then like what feminism, especially the modern feminism movement, lacks today is the equity part of like realizing that different types of women exist and that all of those different types of existence are valid, right? Being a stay-at-home mom is valid. Being a working mom is valid. Being a single mom is valid. And just like across all of these like different identities of how to be a mother, all of that is valid.
Yeah. I just want to like state my awareness of the fact that like inequity when it comes to women, it's not solely in like career, lifestyle. A lot of it is also like health inequity. A lot of women don't have the same opportunities as other women to have a good health care. Like for example, in America, Black women, their mortality rates when they give birth to children is much lower than
mortality.
Higher. It's much higher.
Disproportionately higher.
Much higher. And a lot of it is because doctors will overlook the fact that, they say they have pain. No, you don't have any pain. Like, you're fine. Just go home. Take care of yourselves. And a lot of Black women are seen as stronger than other women. And that's not just in America. In a lot of places, women they're seen as stronger. And so they're like, you're going to be fine. Like, just go home. Yeah. You're fine. We don't have to take care of you. And then these women die. Yeah. And also women are expected to be stronger. So they will go through all these pains, like for example, PCOS symptoms, and they think it's just normal because menstruation is different for every woman, but that's not the case. Sometimes these women have like severe problems, like even cysts. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there.
That's inequity, right? Not inequality.
It's inequity, yes. So healthcare equity is when you are able to give these women that don't have the opportunities a place where they can get the same opportunities as, for example, wealthy women.
Yeah, because tying to your point, what I was about to bring up is also a lot of stay-at-home moms, they're forced into that role because sometimes it's the case that number one, they're not allowed, like literally just they're not allowed by their husbands or like their families to work, right? So they don't have the opportunity, they don't have the privilege of even being allowed to have careers, pursue an education. The other one is also what was I going to say? Yeah, resources, right? So for example, a degree is a resource. A lot of some women, they don't have the opportunity, like our moms, to go to university. Yeah, that's inequity, right?
That's inequity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because some women can, some women can't.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Some women can, some women can't. That's inequity.
And being able to allow these women who can't, making them putting them in a position where they can, that's taking care of the inequity issue.
Yeah. And then my friend, I was talking to him about this, and he brought up a really good point also, just how we always, I feel like even you and me, like right now, we're overlooking this about how for a lot of women, depending on which cultures and which countries they come from, what being a stay-at-home mom also can mean for some women there is higher susceptibility to domestic violence. Yes.
That's a big issue. Another issue is because your husband is so controlling over you and takes care of everything, you don't have the ability to go and do things that are important for your health, such as like going to get a yearly pap smear. If your husband dictates like, no, you can't do that, that's just a waste of resources. Yeah. A lot of women develop cervical cancers, and cervical cancers are because of an HPV virus. Yeah. And if these women are loyal to their husbands and they've only had one sexual partner, they get the HPV virus from their husband cheating on them. Yep. Or having had other sexual partners. It's just a big issue.
There was that STD breakout in somewhere in Bandung or something. That's basically what happened. Yeah, a lot of these wives, they got like some form of STD, and then it's like, okay, it's because like their husbands were like cheating on them. Like that became a whole thing.
Wasn't it HIV?
Oh yeah,
I believe it was HIV. I believe the husbands were having affairs, and some of them are affairs with other men. Yeah. And yeah, HIV spreads very easily. Yep. And HIV is not just an issue between two men. Like you can contract, as a woman, you can contract HIV through vaginal sex.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Or anal sex.
Yeah. If I ever have a kid,
you don't want one?
I'm still contemplating. I have a lot of thoughts. Maybe I'll put it in a separate episode for some other time. But if I ever have a kid, no, I can't give up my career. Absolutely not. Because again, like for me, it's like if I can't put myself first, number one, if I can't put myself first, I do like my career. I mean, clearly, like y'all see this, like my career is also things that I just love to do. Yes. Right. I love doing this.
it's a privilege that you're able to do that.
100%, and I fully acknowledge that, right? But number one, like I'm in a privileged position where my career is also like intersects with my hobbies,
Yes.
right? So number one, I gotta put myself first. Number two, again, if I don't got money, bitch, how am I gonna provide for my fucking kid?
Yeah.
You tell me that, right?
Yeah.
So no, like as women, like working moms out there, like good on you. Like
Yes.
working moms, like y'all work. That money is for your kids.
Yeah.
It's to protect your kids. That's what oh my god, like people need to just get it through their fucking thick heads more.
And single moms too.
And single moms.
Being a single mom, I can't imagine the pressure.
Yeah.
You have to be all in one.
Yeah.
You know?
But
and there is a give and take. Like you can't expect a working, successful single mom to be able to always be there for the kids.
Yes, exactly.
And it's also not what's that word that you said?
Neglect.
It's not neglect. You know what is neglect? If she sat at home, did nothing, couldn't feed her kids, that's neglect.
Bitch, I posted on my story last night, and one of my friends, I'm not gonna mention her name, but one of my friends, she replied back and she was like, bitch, my mom was home all the time and she neglected me.
Well,
ada yang kayak gitu.
Yes.
Ada yang kayak gitu. Like the mom is just at home, sits on her fucking, I'm so sorry, but like all she does, sits on her ass, panggil tukang salon, like does her nails and all that. They're the kind that is a neglectful mother. Like and unfortunately, some of my friends, they grew up with that kind of a mother, where the mother, all she did, arisan, shopping, travel, nyalon, right? And then just never pays attention to the kids.
See, my mom did those things, but also was not neglectful.
Yeah.
She knew that she had kids at home. Yeah. When she went out traveling, she'd make sure to buy things for her kids and call every day and make sure her kids were taken care of. I like felt loved. But also, just one thing is neglect is not one way. So if you're a single mom, it's not neglect, not paying attention to your kids and working, like only working. That's not the only form of neglect. It's the other side too. It's not working, not being able to feed your children, not wanting to work, but you have no way to bathe, feed, pay electricity. That's neglect too. Yes. So neglect works both ways.
Yes, 100%.
I would argue you need to make sure all of your kids' needs were met. Food, electricity, clean clothes, a roof over their head. Like all those things are met before love and attention. That's my belief.
Exactly. And that's why I will never, ever, ever give up my career for, oh my God, especially my husband, my partner. But okay, even for my kids, I'm not going to give up my career. No, because that is a form of me making sure that I don't end up neglecting you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because, and also, I am so sorry, but one form of that neglect that you just mentioned is worse than the other. I'm so sorry. But that it's like you would rather
each their own, but I would rather have food on the table, everything, and not get love and attention.
Exactly.
Because I can get love and attention from somewhere else.
Exactly. No, and that reminds me, right? And also on the topic of my single mom and everything. Because remember my very first JU video?
Yes.
The very, very first one that went viral, right? And I remember there was a comment, like one of the top comments on there was, because I mentioned in the JU video how my mom she was never home a lot, right? And that's also part of the reason why my Indonesian is very, very bad. Like it was tying to that in the JU video, but just point being, my mom was never really home a lot. But I don't resent it. Actually, that's one of the very frequently asked questions about just my experience of growing up with a single mom. It's like, do you resent your mom for not being home that often? I'm like, bitch, I resent her more when she's at home more often. You know what I mean? Number one, there's that. No, I just number one, oh my God, I'm so glad my mom's a single mom. And that my mom's a working mom, because that time apart, that is what I haven't murdered that bitch.
Absence
because
makes the heart grow fonder.
Exactly, mom. I am so sorry, but especially now because she's pretty much she's retired, right? She's chilling. She's so fucking chilling, right? And she's just at home all day. I've never hated her more. I am so sorry. I loved her more when she was absent. I am so fucking sorry. But then in the JU video, the top comment, someone wrote along the lines of if it means that I get to go to a school like this, go to study abroad, and have food and have really nice clothes and all of these
whatever
amenities
you want, you could have.
Yes, if it means that I get to have a lot of money, I'm willing to forego love and attention. Yeah, that's basically what the top comment was saying.
I also want to take accountability in the fact that, like, yeah, I have preconceived notions too. Immediately before I knew you, I thought, okay, like, it's hard for me to envision a single mom being able to put their child through GIS and university outside of the country. So before I met you, I thought, okay, she has a wealthy dad. You know, like, I just, like, do you get what I mean? Because, like, I just always thought, like, oh, if you're able to do this, like, your dad has a good job.
Oh, yeah.
That's just what I am used to. So that's what I thought. And it's not just me.
Yeah.
It's other people. And I think I've read one in, like, a comment section somewhere that was talking about you.
Yeah.
And they were saying, like, oh, she's just a privileged daddy's girl or something like that. And I just thought that was funny because that's not the case at all. And even I had that preconceived notion before I met you.
Yep. No, I'll talk day and night about how everybody, they know where I go to school. They know where I live. They're like, what does your dad do?
Yes.
And I have to look them in the eye and be like, I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah.
I don't know what my dad does. I can't find him. I can't fucking find him. No, that, right? Number one, people always assume that it's my dad, even though I don't have one. Number two, this is what I thought you were getting at. I thought you were trying to get at that, like, oh, there's no way a single mom could have, like, afforded GIS and, like, living in, like, a really, like, prestigious neighborhood without sucking dick.
Oh, no.
That's what I thought you were getting at.
No. Prostitution was not in my eyesight at all.
No, but a lot of people, they think that.
That's wild.
A lot of people, they're like, of course, they never directly say it to me, but I would hear, because people talk, like, when you talk behind my back and, like, it goes around, I'd be hearing it through the grapevine. And a lot of people growing up, they were like, whose fucking Punjabat's dick did her mom suck?
Oh, or whose, I get what you mean. I get what you mean, like, whose
dick did she have to suck to, like, climb up the top? Yeah.
Or, like, whose illegitimate child is this?
Yeah. Well, illegitimate child, no. It's always literally just been, like, who did her mom sleep with to get all this money? Like, hey, man. I hate that bitch sometimes, but I will defend her where I gotta defend her.
Your mom is very impressive.
Yeah.
She's, like, wow. I can't. Like, that's an example to all women. Is, you know, I think it's always great to have an example of a strong, independent, financially stable single mom in Indonesia.
Yeah, I know. That's rare.
So rare. Yeah. And it's so great that there's an example, like, just from your stories alone, of a woman that can do that.
Yeah. And I was gonna say I don't take that for granted, but actually in reality I do. I take my mom for granted a lot, because for me that's, like, all I ever knew. It's like my mom was just always like,
you always take your mom for granted.
Oh, yeah, no, we always we all take our moms for granted. I'm not the only one. So, bitch, shut the fuck up before you write that nasty-ass comment about how you're such an anak durhaka. You are too, bitch. But, I definitely, I take it for granted. Yeah. The fact that, like, my mom's a single mom, and I got to live the life that I lived. I got to go to the, like, fucking most expensive ass school in this country, go to another expensive ass school in another country, and just, I've always had everything and anything I've ever wanted. And I take for granted the part, especially that she had to, like, provide all of that for me all alone. Right. And how I've met a lot of other kids that, you know, they come from single mom households. Really? Especially in America, it's so common. Okay, yeah. No, but even here, like, I've met, like, a couple, but they keep it hush hush, right? But, you know, a lot of, I really, with the exception of, Katie, isn't this insane? Of all the people in my life that I've ever met and, like, known that, oh, their parents are single moms, I only know 3 of us, including me, 3 of us were financially well off. And everybody else, they're struggling, like, struggling to put food on the table. Like, a lot of my friends, like, back in the U.S., you know, I gotta tell y'all, like, a lot of single motherhood in the U.S., unfortunately, is very, very common, because a lot of men, they just get up and they just leave, right?
And can we just, like, make it clear, single mothers, it's not a woman who's divorced with her husband, but the husband is still taking care financially of the child, right? That's not a single mother, is it?
that's why I wish Lunar was here, because that's basically like Lunar, her parents are divorced, right? That's out in the open. I'm not saying anything I'm not supposed to. Parents are divorced, so it's like her mom, like a single mom. Peter, what is a single mom? A single mom is, so if you're divorced from your husband and then you take, you are, like, if you
alone, right? Alone.
Yeah.
So I could argue, okay, maybe there's two types of single moms. Single moms that still have the backing of a man, like the father of the children, and women who the guy is just up and left and don't know. Yeah. Like, I'm not even going to argue about this, but like, that's harder. Yeah. That's 100 times harder.
There's levels to this shit. Yeah, no, for real. And no, back in the US, but even with, like, in the US, child support is mandatory, 100%. But then sometimes like, it's like they don't know who the dads are.
The men run.
Yeah.
Can't find them.
Yeah. And like,
or in prison.
Yeah. And but man, like, back in the US, a lot of my friends that their moms are single moms, it's like, it was so common to hear stories of like them like having to like get up at night because like they couldn't pay rent. They had to like leave. They got evicted like in the middle of the night and all that type of shit. And just like the little things, like can't put food on the table, struggling to pay tuition at the university that I went to, that my mom, she paid for that, you know. So it's like, and I'm not trying to brag or whatever, right? But it just really, it like for me, I gotta think about that more. Every time I shit on my mother, every time I raise my voice at her, I gotta be better at like.
And can I also point out the fact that not all women that are well off prioritize the same things, and the fact that your mom prioritized your education above all else.
Yeah, no,
that's another thing where like, that's impressive. That's very, very impressive.
Yes,
because she could very easily just take the money and be like, I earned this money. Like, my kid can go to a less well-known university or a less well-known high school.
Yes.
Which, if it means that I can go with more,
which happens, you know, I have friends that are like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But your mom, like, she's an amazing woman for doing that, honestly.
Yeah. Again, I know I shit on my mom a lot. My mom is watching this right now. She's like, yeah, no, you said some shit about me. I know I'm not always like, I've never been the best daughter, and like, I've said some things, and like, there are a lot of things that I don't like about her, right? And like, it doesn't, like, there are like faults with her. I will just say this though, like, one of the very just like admirable things, like, I love and I respect my mom for this. I owe her the world. My mom, when it came to education, health, like all the things that matter, like, she was never cheap. And like, to the point where like, actually the reason why I could like afford all of those like services and amenities was because like my mom, like, she would forego the luxury bags. I mean, no, she still got luxury bags, but like, she could have had more.
A lot of moms wear like Hermes Birkins all the time, and their kid is, you know, maybe not going to the best high school.
Yeah, and then you're like,
it's
questionable. But my mom has never been like that. Like my mom, and I have whenever like it comes, you know, I get in a bad mood, like I have a fight with her and everything, and I'm like, oh, my mom doesn't love me and everything. No, I gotta remind myself, like, no, bitch, like, you, like, mom, she gave up fucking Hermes, like, she gave up everything. I'm talking everything. Like, she sacrificed her body, not in the prostitution kind of way, but like, just like letting her exhaustion, bad diet and everything. I mean, my mom's obese and all that type of stuff, right? But it's like, all of that is so that you can get to where you are now.
Yeah,
and I know I take it for granted. I've gotten comments from like, and DMs from some of you guys like, you take your mother for granted. Every time I receive that, I'm like, I know. I know. Okay.
We all do it. Like, let's not pretend like we don't all talk about our moms. It's just, you have a much bigger platform to do it on.
Yeah.
Is the only difference.
Yeah, and I guess in honor of International Women's Day.
Thank you to our moms and all moms out there.
Yeah. Goodness. Yes, but that is it for this episode, you guys. Be sure to like, comment, fucking subscribe. You can't.
Yeah,
You'll see Katie soon. Don't worry. She's not going anywhere. She'll always be here.
Oh. Okay.
Why? You don't want that, bitch?
I want to have like goals and ambitions and of my own.
Bitch, you can have goals and ambitions and also come back here.
Yeah, I'll always be here.
She'll always
on this couch.
She'll always be invited back. Anyways,
yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.